Every pulse, every measure, we count the days of our lives. Second by second, minute by minute, are we in a prearranged pattern? Before your wristwatch or even your phone, most would look at the sun, also known as solar time, to calculate their passage of time based on the position of the sun in the sky. What if the sun didn't exist? Or better yet, what if the Big Bang never happened? Would time still exist? Time is running out. This is the Great Time Reset. What does the word timeless mean to you, and why does it seem time moves faster as we get older? There's no now when you are chasing tomorrow. To be productive in today's society, you better be on time. In this day and age, it really is what you make of your time. Don't let people waste your time, and make sure you're having fun with your time. The world's first mechanical clocks are thought to have been tower clocks, built in the region spanning northern Italy to southern Germany from around 1270 to 1300, during the Renaissance period. These clocks did not yet have dials or hands, but told the time by striking bells. These clocks had weights, which were suspended to move their wheels. These two weights moved the clock and rang the bell. Before that, civilizations utilized astronomical bodies such as the moon and sun to determine time. Today, alarm clocks, wristwatches, and smart gadgets all help to allow us to immediately tell time, set alarms, and mark calendar events.
Hi. Welcome to Eric's Clock. I'm Eric. Many different grandfather clocks, from German to American. I born in Iran, July 1956. We came to USA 1986. I started this business 1994. I love this job. It's a good hobby. I'm enjoying. That's why some people say, I hate my job. No, I love my job.
So you discovered your passion pretty much.
For sure. Grandfather clock, French clock, mantle clock, all kind of clock. Called one-way cuckoo clock, German. Every clock we repair it here. Watches also. I opened my own business, Eric's Clock. And then we opened this shop in 2013. Started with my son, David. We are very friendly. It's a family business. Mm-hmm. We are honest with the people. People come back to us.
I mean, you were like one of the last independent shops that offers this service and these type of clocks. Right?
Yes. Unfortunately, that's people, they don't want a new generation. They don't want to learn this job. But it's a beautiful job. Teach you how to be patient. Because when you can take apart the clock for 100 pieces, put together, and then give him life, that 200 years old clock, start to working, you are happy. That's unbelievable feeling when you fix the old clock. Unfortunately, some new generation, they don't love the clock. I don't know what. Our oldest one is from 1800. Those clockmakers were genius. That's a piece by piece, perfect clock they make it. It's running 150 years old. Only they need lubrication cleaning. Honestly, better than the new clock here, right now. Old one has a beautiful bell sound. It's a bum. Time is important, but that's not only time. It's like a beautiful piece of furniture. It's not only telling time. It's when you see how they make it at 200 years, 300 years ago, they make that beautiful piece. Something like this is 150 years old, or something like this is a mechanical finger French clock. So it's striking half hour, and then whatever the time is, it's going to be striking.
Technically, you have the power to stop somebody's time, reverse it,
Okay.
fast forward it.
Yeah, we can do everything, but we can, because those clocks sometimes they need regulating. This is Atmos clock, doesn't need nothing. It's work with the air.
So it doesn't need battery?
Nothing. Technology is from 1920s. It has a special gas on the back with a temperature warned itself. English clock, it's a inside come with a, on the picture, there's a clock over there.
That one's kind of spooky a little bit.
Yeah, this is a same style. It's on the beam band. Those are all pearl wood. They work, but I have to repair this one. Tick-tock is relaxing. Some people say, oh, that doesn't bother you. I said, no, it doesn't bother me. When it's tick-tocking, that means it's working. I'd make money.
Yeah.
The cuckoo clock is playing. Yeah, 4 o'clock also.
What is time to you? I mean, can people abandon it?
If the life get harder for living, maybe this business is going to be harder to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But most, for example, the old time, most of the people, they are rich, they buy the clock. Old clock like this was $100, $100, 100 years ago, it's too much. 5 tubular grandfather clock from 1912. Everything is gold plated, 24 karat gold plated, dial, finial, the weight, pendulum, and then strike whatever the time is it.
So you do more of the wristwatches,
Yes.
right, David?
Watches are very interesting, and
Mhm.
everyone's got a watch now.
How do you feel about like the smart watches?
I mean, I guess if you got to wear them for work, it makes sense. But we're talking about something that's a piece of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the hat that you wear or the shirt you have on. You know, it's a piece of you. So, and you collect these pieces. I have so many collectible pieces he's even given me that I'm gonna save for the rest of my life and pass down to my kids, and my kids will hopefully pass it down to their kids. Just like the stuff in here. It's probably been all over the world through wars, through time, and now still telling time here.
People take the time with them, but the time is all around you. But it turns
Sure.
into how it relates to them and them using it as a status symbol. Some people feel like their time's more important than yours,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we're the ones charging them for the time, so they can't think that.
That's really cool. Digital revolution, there's more technology, but it also seems like it's more disposable. You know?
Of course.
Of
These
course,
aren't
yeah.
disposable, like he said. I mean, you got pieces here 150, 200 years old that you can just keep repairing and it'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Hopefully they keep it going, the younger generation. That was telling time in someone's house when the war was going on. Now it's here in Pasadena. Hopefully it goes to another beautiful home.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important part.
We love our customers. Hello. We do a good
They're the
job.
reason we're in
We are
business.
honest with them. That's why they always come back.
You got to have a lot of trust with them.
Yeah.
What does the word timeless mean to you?
I mean, like these clocks.
So,
It's,
yeah.
timeless is never ending.
Yeah, it's
Right.
never ending. Yeah. You use your time wisely. You are not waste your time. You have to find the happiness, whatever you do.
What makes one's time more important than another's? Your perception and consciousness determine the importance of your time. Describe your perception and analysis of time both physically and mentally. What happens if you abandon time, and what kind of world would that be? The Kumeyaay Indians, who were the original inhabitants of southwestern California and northwestern Mexico, had their own way of telling time, Indian time, which pretty much means you leave or arrive whenever the spirit moves you. They embrace living a life of leisure and are not particular about schedules. Native American tribes believe that life is not linear, rather circular, meaning it has no beginning or end, just keeps going. Consider a death to not be obsolete, rather a voyage to the next world or life. Many tribes believe in reincarnation and that the soul is an internal presence that moves from body to body without ever leaving the world. This allows one to view death with acceptance. Moving from one world to the next is to be celebrated.
As Europeans spread throughout the world, globalized, and sad to say, a lot of acts of genocide and things like that occurred, that colonization process took place. One of the parts of that, of course, was English language. The other parts of that was us wearing pants and suits on a hot day like today. The other part of it is us using that time. You had to keep time. So all of the old boarding schools, they took our kids and all of those old prisons, all the military places. It was very central, right in the middle of where everybody was sleeping, all the barracks, all the boot areas. They'd always have a flagpole right in the middle of it there. And right there, you'd hear at the start of the break, whatever the horn sound was, bring everyone together. You had to be on time. You're going to do an American song, or a song to the nation that's being colonized. So in Canada, they had different songs. Over in Australia, they had their songs. But here in America, it was the good old American songs, patriotic songs, followed by a good couple Christian songs. Again, not on the way. But that's how time was first started for our people. They didn't really respect whether it was hot outside, or if it was raining outside, or if we had a late night. So like in this area, you can tell it gets really warm during the day. So a lot of times we would start our gatherings when the sun's starting to go down. Not at a certain time, but just we would talk about it. We'd say the sky, you can see the sun has gone over the mountain. You look at the sky, it looks like a basket. We describe it as like a basket. Real beautiful yellow, different colors that you see in there. And then we would describe that through song. They would tell the time that way, they'd sing it through the night, and they would sing the stars up. And there were songs that talk about the animals that you'd see at night. There's songs talking about our constellation. That's how we did it here in Kumi Island. And so our time was all based on what was around us. Certain plants would grow. We knew that a spring was coming. We had indicator plants. We knew that one plant died, another plant would grow right after it. And those were the plants that we harvested for food or for medicine, for all the different things that we use. And so when they say you gotta be up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, that's something our people have learned, and we do. We're very professional at times. But when we get back to our traditional stuff like this, we tend to be a little bit off skew with our time, just a little bit. And we allow it because sometimes it's just a natural progress of time, you know? Sometimes we're early, sometimes we're late. Usually we're late, but hey. But we do have a natural progress. So that's Indian time.
I'm Raul Chrisman from the Viejas Band of the Kumeyaay Indians, Kumeyaay Nation here in Southern California, land of the birdsong and dance. Yay, hun. I've been Master of Ceremonies at Sequan Powwow for the past 10 plus years. It was a role that I grew into. My father was the MC of the birdsong and dance portion prior to myself. And as he got a little older, I started to help him out. My favorite part of Powwow Weekend here at Sequan is, of course, everybody coming together. You get to see the elders that are in this area. They come out and they enjoy themselves, seeing people they haven't seen in a while, seeing the dancing. I like to see dancers that are from different parts of the United States and Canada. All the champions roll in, championship singing, and then all the locals who get to go out and maybe not get a chance to travel as much, but they get to go out there and dance alongside those champions. For us natives, we talk about Indian time, and Indian time is something where when we come to our ceremonies and our old time doings, whether it's singing, dancing, or whatever it is, when we come together, we go back to our old way of mindset, of which is that things just happen in a natural progression. Things happen in a natural time. Sometimes we're early, sometimes we're late. Sometimes we have to honor and respect the climate around us, if it's raining or if it's dark, if it's winter, summer, longer days in the summer. And so when time was first brought to our people, that was part of the colonization process, where Big Ben in Europe and out in London there was up, and that became the standard of time and a symbol of that colonization. They roll in the factory life. You had to be at that factory at a certain time, and you clock in, you clock out. You have to wake up at a certain time, you have to go to bed at a certain time, and that's our life now. And we honor that, and we're very modernized, and we're very professional in that setting. But when we come back to our traditional way of life, we always go back to our original way of being, which is that we honor things beyond that clock, which is, again, what's going on around us, the weather and the time of year we're in. The biggest thing is honoring one another. Sometimes we have to wait for somebody, or we have to wait for our elders. They walk a little slower than our younger individuals. We don't get so much on the time around these things. We try to stay to a generalized time, but we will honor that sometimes things take longer, sometimes things do wrap up early. So Indian time.
We're living in the most beautiful clock ever made. The sun tells the time, the moon tells the day, and the stars will tell you what month it is. Within the sky world, there are several important constellations and individual stars and planets that hold particular meaning for the Kumeyaay. The sky itself is known as Ime or Umai. The sun is Inya or Inyaha, which means white light or bright light. Venus is an important celestial marker for the Kumeyaay life cycle, better known as Kwelyep Miwan. It has an 8-year cycle as a morning and evening star and is one of the dominant lights in the sky. Venus is unusual because it spins in the opposite direction of Earth and most other planets. It also has a very slow rotation, making its day longer than its year. What allows life to exist on the planet Earth? The Sun is the closest star to Earth. Even at a distance of 93 million miles, its gravitational pull holds the planet in orbit. It radiates light and heat, or solar energy, which makes it possible for life to exist on Earth.
My name is Matt Flynn. I'm the managing partner and producer of Dinosaurs in the Valley.
Well, you got a friend here with you.
Yes, Pumpkin's here. Say hello, Pumpkin. Well, Dinosaurs in the Valley is an immersive experience of over 100 dinosaurs, most of them being fully animatronic. As you can see, the dinosaurs behind us or some other footage that you took, they're true to size, they're true to life, their colors, the sounds they make, the movements they make. It's actually amazing to see these creatures, how realistic they are.
What was your motivation? Why did you guys do this? It's plenty of fun, but I guess it's also educational, huh?
It's extremely educational. Obviously, seeing the smiles in the kids' faces, the parents' faces, the grandparents' faces. We produce events all over the country and go to convention centers. And then a couple people approached us and said, hey, why don't you come out to Pierce College? And it's been a huge success.
Are these all from the Jurassic period, or?
No, there's a mixture of all different periods. So you get education when you're coming through here. We have a couple different scenes of fight scenes where you got a Triceratops fighting a T-Rex. You have Allosaurus chasing down some Stegosauruses. So a little bit of time and realistic of what have happened back in their time periods.
These dinosaurs lived about 65 million to 200 million years ago, is it?
That's correct. They've lived a long time ago.
Wow, so you're pretty much resurrecting them, and like a lot of people, newer generations, they didn't realize that these guys were around way before them, right?
Correct. They haven't realized, and it's the curiosity. So when they see them, you know, they can go to a museum and see them, you know, with the fossils and stuff like that, which we do have a fossil dig here that the kids can see some fossils of dinosaurs. But when they see it with the true skin on it and what the color would be and how it moves, you know.
Mm-hmm. Just as they disappeared, we could disappear too, theoretically. Maybe the dinosaurs will be looking at us a million years from now, studying us. You never know, right?
Look at Pumpkin. He's excited about that opportunity. Well, I think there's enough stuff that's out there about dinosaurs that they're not going to get lost in time, but we like to bring it out to people into the forefront. This is the biggest that's been in the United States ever.
Think they could get along with the humans, or they'll just devour them, or?
You know, it's in their nature. I think some of the species could get along with the humans, but I think that, you know, you got to do what you do. Then if you're brought on the earth, it's the top of the food chain. So it's just survival. So it depends on what their survival needs or would need to be.
Dinosaurs went extinct about 65 million years ago, at the end of the Cretaceous period, after living on Earth for about 165 million years. In a new study, scientists show that the key expansion of dinosaurs was also triggered by a crisis, a mass extinction that happened 232 million years ago. It is commonly understood that the dinosaurs disappeared with a bang, wiped out by a great meteorite impact on the Earth 66 million years ago.
My name is Devi Prasad Chowdhury. I am the department head at California State University, Northridge Department of Physics and Astronomy. And my research interests are in solar physics. I measure the magnetic field on the sun and use those measurements to predict the space weather. When an event happens at one point, at the same time, you will not know the event at the other point. Unless the light travels from that point to you, you do not know that it happened there. So for that to happen, you need the time for the information of the event to propagate from one spatial location to the other spatial location. So to do physics, you need these three-dimensional x, y, z spatial coordinates, but at the same time you have to also know when did this happen. Einstein proposed that you have all the four in the same footing, space-time geometry, if you like. He used, and with that he basically did this general theory of relativity, survived for last more than 100 years. Nobody could find anything, it's a little bit single mistake in that theory.
Well, what about fellow physicist Carlo Rovelli, which he thought time is an illusion, perception of its flow doesn't correspond to physical reality. So that's kind of mostly time-space, what you just said.
Yeah, that is true. When nothing happens, there is no time. You just sit in a isolated place. If nothing happens, there is no flow of time. we know time only when something changes. On Earth, of course, things change. If you look at the concept of time in the history, people figured out time because of the seasonal changes, day and night, and things like that. Because here you see the changes. Things of time, like we have atomic clocks where there are atomic transitions, 10 to the power minus 6, minus 8 seconds you can get out of those events. If there is no event, there is no time. Space and time are the constructs of physics, and that becomes quantitative when you are able to measure things. If you are able to measure interval between two events, that will give you time. When you are able to measure where did this happen with respect to some reference, then that gives you space.
The Big Bang, do you think that's when time started?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Right now we know that 14.7 billion years ago, there was an event in which space-time starts. And then, of course, the universe originated from that event.
Do you feel like our past is gone forever, or is it all here, just on a different z-plane?
In physics, what happens is all physical laws are symmetry with time. Nothing prevents to use a minus t or a plus t in our equations, mathematical equations. So the reversibility is a perfectly legitimate solution mathematically, but experimentally we cannot undo things that has happened in the past. And we can only predict the future, but we do not know for sure what the future will be. Reversing time, which means, those going to the past with the time machine, those nobody has constructed yet. Even though it may be theoretically possible, in practice, I don't see a way to actually produce such things. What you can do is you can do at this time, the present.
So what are you going to show us today in the new solar observatory?
I will show you a telescope that observes the sun every day for last 37 years continuously, same telescope. We use those observations to model the radiation from the sun that is received by the earth. It is very important because those radiations, they shape our long-term climate on the earth. So this is our photometric telescope. That means we are taking the images of the sun to measure the light in extremely accurate way photometrically on the surface of the sun through 4 different filters in red, blue, infrared and calcium emission. The images of the sun from the telescope, which is upstairs like these are the images of the sun in different filters. They come here and record those images onto the computer. So that is how these telescopes they observe. We have 3 telescopes called a small one which makes the images of the sun. The smaller, the other 2 are bigger images of the sun they take. The smallest telescope has been taking the images of the sun for last 37 years. This is the only facility in the world that has such a large time base of data that measures the light from the sun in extremely accurate manner. This telescope is funded by National Science Foundation of United States, which almost $500,000 to build this telescope, and we hope this will measure the light for several years to come.
Have you discovered that the expression "on time" can mean different things for people? Has your perception of time changed? Before clocks, the ancient Egyptians prior to 1500 BC discovered the invention of sundials. This implies that the basic measured unit of time was the duration of daylight. Similar to a wind-up mechanical timepiece giving up its energy, time is slowing down and may eventually grind to a halt altogether, resulting in all of existence being frozen, like a snapshot within a single moment in time. That is the radical theory proposed by a team of Spanish scientists headed by Professor Senovia, and commenting on the claim, University of Cambridge cosmologist Gary Gibbons said, "We believe that time emerged during the Big Bang, and if time can emerge, it can also disappear. That's just the reverse effect."
What would you say to aspiring physicists and astronomers as chairman, you know?
To do all these big problems of time travel or things like that, you have to learn a lot of physics and a lot of mathematics. Work hard, then you can really enjoy this big field.
The giant asteroid came and took all you guys out, or what happened?
There's multiple theories of what happened, so
all theories.
it's all theories.
Do you have a theory?
I have a theory that just evolution. Things moved on, and you know, the Big Bang theory is a good one to have, but it's, you know, let the mystery begin.
Some people believe time started with the Big Bang, and that's scary because that means it could be stopped too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you don't know what it is. It's God, if it's the Big Bang, if it's a religion, if we're in a black hole and this is a matrix, you know, it's all up for grabs.
That's why I believe people say, have a nice day. That time, I tell them, create a nice day. We have to create our day.
The world is changing as well as your interpretation. The laws of physics are based on a simulation based on the code that is written. The limit of the simulation is the speed of light. The fourth dimension, time.